When I decided I was going to watch The Journey of Elaina, I had a preconceived idea of what to expect given its serene synopsis and key art. I was expecting a wholesome pilgrimage of a young witch exploring a beautifully diverse world, interacting with all sorts of wonderful and weird characters along the way. It turns out I wasn't exactly wrong, but I definitely hadn't anticipated the fluctuating tone of this anime at all. From the first 2 episodes, my expectations seemed pretty on point, and I was completely satisfied with that. The establishing of Elena's characterization through her training to become a witch provided a sublime first impression. Similarly, the second episode presented a wholesome bond forming between 2 characters. It was slightly sad to see the lengths Saya would go to try and prevent her loneliness, but ultimately the episode had a warm conclusion. But then it all changed. By the end of episode 3, my face went from looking like this to this. Suddenly, the Journey of Elaina became a whole lot more dark, covering parasitic plants and slavery. I thought to myself, this had to be a one-off thing, but after episode 4 it was clear. This is an anime that isn't afraid of highlighting the dark side of humanity and nature. As I said, I was more than happy to watch a wholesome witch show, but with this unexpected twist in the underlying tone, I had become fully invested in Elaina. Now of course, The Journey of Elaina is still currently airing, so I can only talk about what has been released so far, but in my opinion, the execution up until now alone is definitely deserving of discussion. Let's start by looking at the flower story. The episode is prefaced with the following proverb.
美しい花にはトゲがあると言います。美しさは時として触れるものに牙を向くこともあるのです。
Accompanied with the ever so slightly eerie music, this foreshadows the concept/message of what we're about to witness. The most innocent and nice looking things in nature often use these features to deceive their victims. As Elaina is flying over a field, she meets a seemingly normal girl admiring the flowers. It is a little strange for this girl to ask Elaina to give these flowers to someone without a specific receiver in mind, but I think most of us overlook this. So far, nothing really raises any alarms, but it is setting up for a malevolent revelation. This comes when Elaina arrives at her destination. She's informed by one of the guards that the plant makes people go insane due to its magical properties. Suddenly, we now know that this girl wasn't just admiring these flowers, she was being absorbed by them. That night, Elaina recalls a passage from her favourite childhood book about a plant that, through a sudden mutation, became violent. Every tale we've seen so far in this anime is reflected in some way by an extract from The Adventures of Nike, a book that inspired Elaina to become a witch. This doesn't only add to our anticipation, but makes the journey of Elaina feel that much more enchanting, as she is effectively living out a series of childhood fairy tales. The next day, we come to understand just how dark the flower story really is, when Elaina discovers the guard that tried to stop her from entering the country over in the flower field. He is in a completely entranced state, fixated on his sister's corpse, which is now just a part of this horrific biomass. We see the shot of the plant roots wrapped around the guard's legs, showing its grip over him. He has passed the point of ever being able to escape it. Effectively, what we have here is a sentient plant luring in victims and using them to continually expand and grow. The last scene we witness from this story is of the victims of this plant heading towards the town. Ominously, we're left without a conclusion. We'll never know what happened after this. It's up to what we make of it. This open conclusion, along with the atmosphere created by the sound design, lighting, and direction of the story, all led to it being very unsettling. I'm still shocked at just how effective it was, given it only lasted about 8 minutes. The next story we're shown focuses on a young girl who works for the family of a rich village chief. This story somehow manages to outdo the first in terms of its tragic nature, as we slowly find out that this girl isn't actually working for the family, but is instead a slave to the house. Elaina first meets the son of the house, who is attempting to bottle happiness to give to the servant as a present. However, this seemingly nice act of kindness is deeply flawed, because when he opens this bottle, essentially, he is just sharing the memories of happy people to a person who is trapped in circumstances making it impossible to find happiness because they lack basic freedom. So what the son actually ends up doing is making the girl feel even more trapped and depressed than she already is. Of course, we can only presume this to be the case, as it seems to mirror the metaphoric passage from the Adventures of Nike, which Elaina slowly informs us of at the beginning and the end of the story. Similarly to the Flower Tale, we're not given a full conclusion, which does keep us thinking and questioning even after the credits roll, and that's honestly what has grabbed my interest with the Journey of Elaina. It knows how to make you use your initiative to fill in the blanks. With the dark subject matters, it allows you to decipher the evil or bad components at hand without making a specific judgment itself. This means everything feels naturally presented, with each story playing out as a convincing part of Elena's journey. So to conclude, I'm really enjoying the Journey of Elaina right now. The main character is charming, and its narrative is unexpected, unique, and most importantly, interesting. What more could you want? I've been Russ, and have a great night or day.